So guys, welcome back. We've reconvened now. Good to see you all. A 3-1 win away, and I can't pronounce the name of the team again, but somebody has to pronounce it for me. But what was the general thoughts? Let's talk about the lineup first. What did you guys think about the lineup that Jose went with? Kamal?
Interesting, very, very interesting. I believe that giving Kane Lo Celso a rest was good. I would have thought he might have given Son a rest, but I mean, we're really not a team without Son, are we? I thought it was an opportunity for Delhi to really shine today, and for Ndombele to actually start doing something. So, an interesting team, pretty solid at the back, I thought, and putting Hart in goal, good idea. Hugo needs a rest.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Steve.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, to me, it was definitely a second string team. There's probably only 2 or 3 players who will start against Newcastle. I think, I think as we go on, we'll talk about the game itself, but I think it clearly was a second string team. But so it should be against this sort of opposition.
Sure. So from my point of view, one thing I wanted to ask, does this mean that Paulo Gazzaniga is no longer our number 2?
Totally.
Yeah.
Is that what it means? Is he on his way out because Joe Hart is playing now? There's question out there, but that's one thing. From my point of view, he's absolutely right to play Aurier. Again, Ben Davies wasn't that great, but he's, hopefully he's going to be the second string left back. But as Steve said, he was a second string, more than good enough to beat this quality of team anyway, so I have no issues with that. Jamal, what did you think about the lineup and the choice of?
All right. Well, first of all, good to be back here with all of you. All the fans, thank you for the views. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget. Drop us some comments. Give us some heads up. Let us know what you think. As far as the lineup goes, we did very well. I mean, it was a good lineup. I think as far as the second string goes, it shows how far we've come from even last season when our second string was just nowhere near as quality a team this was. It was good to have Ndombele play 90 minutes. I think Dele Alli, he got his chance to show what he could do. Whether that went well or not, that's up for debate. But like Steve also said, I think only 1 or 2 players are going to be starting on the weekend here.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's talk about the first half then, Kamal. What's your views? Sorry, can you give us a bit of a background to the actual team that we played?
Shkendija, if you want to pronounce it.
Shkendija, I heard it's called.
Top of the table of the North Macedonian League. Wow, well done, Sckendija. They've played 6 games, won 4, drawn 2. They haven't lost in 10 games apart from today. The other thing that I found really interesting is, and this would have been an embarrassing moment for us, is for the last 7 years, they have tried to get to the group stage, out of the group stages for the Europa, and failed every single time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the Southern Macedonian League is like, but if it's anything like the Northern Macedonian League, we really I mean, the fact that they got 1 goal is a real embarrassment for us.
That was a good goal.
It was an excellent goal.
Say a few things about the first stage. So here we've got a team which probably the way they were playing looked like they belonged on Hackney Marshes. The goalkeeper, interestingly enough, never held 1 shot throughout the game. I mean, he did fall on a couple of balls, but he just parried it. We were, again, secondary. I mean, we should have had about 15 goals just by, just all you need to do is just push the ball towards the keeper and then push it out to somebody. So that, I thought, was an interesting, I mean, wow, it's an incredible guy, the goalkeeper, but the amount of space that Lamela had, he could have stopped, had a cup of tea, and then took a shot. I still had time to carry on. It was ridiculous. But they, we then gave them too much respect. I don't know what we did, what happened to us. I mean, it was hilarious to see, because I could hear Mourinho on the sidelines going to Ndombele. He kept shouting at him, Tanguy, move Tanguy, move Tanguy, move Tanguy.
Tanguy just had been done for Tanguy.
Tanguy still slowing down even more. That was hilarious. Move Tanguy, move Tanguy, move.
He was also asking them to pass, like that's some sort of strange piece of advice you'd give to a football team.
Yeah.
I mean, this is good that we can hear pretty well everything that the managers are saying.
Yes.
And at some stages, it doesn't really seem like the rocket science we're sort of led to believe it is. Move and pass,
Pass and
move
move,
and pass.
pass and move.
That is innovation, but I don't know what our style of play is actually. What is our style? Can somebody explain to me what our style of play is?
I think we try and bore the other team to death. I think that's what we're trying to do today. See if we could sort of induce some sort of comatose state in them and then hit them, but we never actually got the hit. I'm probably being a bit
What do you think, Jamal?
hypercritical, but
I think it's very much it's like it's the new Mourinho. It's Mourinho 2.0. It's like we're slow, but there's like little bits of awake moments. You know, we're pretty much like an Ndombele team now. You know, there's some energy there, but it will come to us eventually.
Well, I mean, it was I don't know if you heard Mourinho at some stage. He said, "Wake up, keep moving the ball, wake up."
And he said a few expletives as well, which I heard as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of those in the Amazon documentary. But I mean, I think it's incredible to see. The one thing I like about Mourinho, and I have to say this, I know we're going to talk about the documentary sometime, but is the fact that everything that we say to each other about the team and what they do, it seems like he's been saying it to them, exactly the same thing, but just beating his head against this brick wall. It must be so frustrating.
But it's a good win, really. 3-1 away. The pitch was like Hackney Marshes, like you said. All in all, it was a good win, but the performance, I'm not sure about that. As Steve said, we could have had loads of goals. We've got to be more ruthless. Again, the final pass was really bad. What do you think, Jamal?
I think that's kind of what we would expect from our impact sub players like the Lamela, Dele Alli. It's like it's very much what we've come to expect from them. And I think when Kane came on, when Lo Celso came on, we saw what our true team can do. And it goes to show, Lo Celso, Kane, Son won us that game there. Changed the whole aspect.
Going back to Dele Alli, Steve, I'm not sure he didn't play that great, if you ask me. What do you think?
No, I mean, no, he didn't. But then he wasn't the only one. I mean, that was a game where people could underperform, and we would still win. But I think Dele Alli was poor. I think Bergwijn was poor as well. That final pass, I sort of sometimes wonder. You are professional footballers. You're doing this all the time. You must know how to wait a pass. And I don't understand it at times. I mean, we're too slow. We're ponderous. I sort of thought to myself, what would Man City or Liverpool do to this team?
Exactly, Steve. I was just thinking that.
String. They'd have been blown away in the first 15 minutes, and then you can relax. Yeah. Whereas when they equalised, oh my God, here we go again.
Exactly. I mean, I must say that the thing that really hit me about our performance was after the space that Lamela had, we kept on getting space in the top third where we were, but we did nothing with it. And Ndombele held the ball very well, but didn't know how to pass it. Every pass he did was either overhit, underhit, or just away from the player. Aurier got away with murder in that game because some of his passing in the middle of the pitch, which any other team would have just taken on and scored about 3 goals against us.
I think he fell over the ball at one stage in the first half. He managed to recover and sort of kick the ball back, but no one was near him. He just fell over on it.
I mean, nobody's closing the ball for the shot. It was a great shot, but was any defenders putting pressure on? Nothing at all.
Nobody. They were watching.
Well, that's the central defenders, isn't it, really? That's probably Toby who should have been there.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of him, and he probably will start at the weekend, but
I don't think he will.
You don't think he will?
No, I think he'll go with Sanchez and Dyer again.
Oh. Yeah, Eric Dyer is a banker for that team, so he's definitely going to be there. But the defending wasn't great. As Steve said, any proper team like City, Liverpool, we would have been blown away by them. They would have just...
I mean, surely you played to the... I think one of the problems that Tottenham have, from what I've been seeing a lot recently, is we tend to play to the strengths of the team we're facing. So if the team we're facing is an absolute shower of shite, we end up being that too. When we go to Manchester City, they're a great team.
We up our game.
We sort of up our game too. I mean, we made this team look good. Let's face it. This team, I know that Wrexham has just been about to be bought by some Hollywood superstars. I mean, this team wouldn't even be bought by Macedonian superstars, I wouldn't think. No.
It's not a great team, but that's why they're in the Europa League qualifying round, same as us. So,
I thought in some ways, though, they were quite technically accomplished.
They were very decent.
Ball, they moved it quickly. I thought they looked slight compared to our players, who was sort of, in some ways, you might think they're a bit over-muscled.
Yeah.
So they lack mobility. Their players were sort of fairly small and wiry and a bit nippy. And I think technically okay. Not as good, but technically they had technique. The goal required technique.
Absolutely. But I mean, but don't you think that for the first half at least, whenever they got the ball in our half, they suddenly thought, I can't believe we're actually in Tottenham's half, and suddenly stopped, looked around and said, am I really here? And it's lost it completely. If they had some confidence and faith, they might have played a bit better, but then maybe they were giving us too much respect.
I think they did grow in confidence, I think.
That's what I was going to say. I think that first half, like, because of our performance, we could have like ended the game then, but we didn't. We let them play, we let them grow into the game, and they just were confident for the second half, which gave them a good goal.
I think that's absolutely right. When we didn't put our chances away, they grew in confidence. They said it could be on for us here, one good shot and we're on. Mm-hmm. So, again, the run continues. When was the last time we kept a clean sheet? I think it was against Leicester. Was it 3-0? I don't know. But it's
I can't remember.
What are clean sheets?
What is a clean sheet?
I don't know what a clean sheet is. I think it's something you put on your bed, isn't it? When you
right.
your stuff, etc. But
you're our stats man. Come on, what's going on? Come on, you should know this.
I think the last time we kept a clean sheet was probably not even this century. But no, I don't say that. I know that we have kept a couple, but not for a very long.
Leicester, I think, was the last one. Mine might be wrong though.
Leicester. No,
sounds unlikely.
What I can tell you, if you're talking about stats, is that Mourinho did go to his old friend Pandev. You've heard of Pandev? He used to play for him at Inter. Yeah. And this tells you an idea of the Macedonian League. Pandev has his own team called Academia Pandev. And he gave Mourinho a full briefing on Shkendija. So that he was up to speed on what kind of players they were, which I thought was interesting. I mean, even you'd have thought Mourinho would have just not even given them the time of day, but he actually went out of the way.
I mean, he's doing his job. At least it seems he is, or trying to.
Yeah. But Sanchez was playing against wasn't he? Bambi on ice, really.
Oh, Sanchez. Well, he turned into Big Boot Sanchez, where he'd whack the ball forward. Almost straight to their goalkeeper.
Exactly.
I mean, I do want him to clear the ball, but not when he's unmarked and there are passes on.
Well, another thing I noticed, this problem we had with Eriksen about not beating the first man, it's now infected Son and Lamela as well. If we could get really decent delivery into the box, we'd have more chances of scoring goals. We just can't get the corners right.
I think we started to get chances when we didn't try and intricately move the ball through the middle and we got it wide. Yeah. Well, Kane got his goal from a great cross from Son. And I think Lamela had a header he should have scored from, and Kane had a header he should have scored from. Yeah. I'm happy with crosses. We don't like to do it anymore. But I like a cross. You never know what's going to happen.
You always get Dracula's in the team. They don't like crosses.
Well, that's just I don't understand it.
I mean, what I wanted to say is that, just to sum up the first half, I mean, Bergwijn, really, of all the times I've ever seen him play, that is the worst I have ever seen him play.
Yeah, I gave him great.
To be honest, I thought he was the worst player on the pitch. And Ndombele held the ball well, had so much space in the middle. But to pass the ball, he couldn't pass to save his life. Dele, I don't even know what Dele was doing. I gave him about a 4 out of 10. But, the unfortunate thing is they made Son look bad. They made Son look bad in the first half.
Well, it's contagious, isn't it?
It wasn't until Kane and Lesotho came on that Son actually started, really playing like Son can play.
I think if you contrast the Southampton game, where the Southampton were playing an extraordinarily high line, giving room for players to run behind them, and this team were defending in banks of, two banks of 4, banks of 3. So they were very defensively set up. But I think that if they'd have managed to get extra time or penalties or something like that, they'd have been very, very happy.
Yeah.
There was a time around 60th minute, you're like, penalties it is. Here we go.
But I think penalties, I think.
Absolutely, we would have. That's just Tottenham, But I think we've talked about all negative in the first half. There was a lot of negatives in the first half, but the second half, we played a lot better. Especially, Ndombele had a good second half. I think throughout the first half, he was open all the time, which is good to see. He played 90 minutes, which is good to see, and we finally got to see Ndombele and Lo Celso play together, which was something we've been waiting to see for a long time.
Yeah, so where was Pierre Højbjerg then? Come on, where was he?
Resting.
Home, probably taking And I think, to be honest with you, I mean, look at that team. Look at the players that Steve said you wouldn't want playing. You wouldn't want a fit Bale on that pitch. You wouldn't ideally want a fit Harry Kane on that pitch.
No.
Yeah,
You
so
wouldn't
desperate. Put him on, yeah.
You know, I mean, the fact that we had to bring Kane on is actually, for me, means we lost the game. He should not even have had a look in, to be honest with you. We didn't need those players on there. We don't need Lo Celso on that pitch. If we haven't got a team that can beat this team that probably won't even make it to the Ryman League in England, then we really is, that is bad news.
Well, as I said, our second string should have beaten them easily. I don't know why they can't do it. I think they rely on these talismen. When the talismen not playing, they just don't seem to perform. But why don't we talk a little bit about Dele Alli, because he's been in the news recently, potential loan move to PSG, you know, whether we're going to sell him or not. What do you guys think? I mean, personally, I don't think he had a great game today. I think he's lost a lot of his buzz that he had before. I think there's a great player in there somewhere, but I don't know if Mourinho's prepared to wait for him. So, Kamal, what do you think about Dele Alli?
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. If Dele Alli was worth 50 million before this game, he's now worth 40 million. And if there were about 10 suitors for him, and before this game, there's probably about 3. Because, I mean, PSG, well, are they really going to take somebody who can't even find space or do anything against, I can't even remember their name anymore. What is it? Shkendija?
Shkendija.
I mean, come on. I mean, when you've got to playing alongside Neymar and Mbappe and Di Maria, you're going to put Dele in there? I don't know. I mean, I want the Dele of 4 or 5 years ago, you know, the 18 goals, 20 goals a season, you know, the highest assists of anyone at his age at 21. That's, you know, more assists and goals than Giggs, Scholes and Beckham at that age put together. Where's that player gone? I mean, where's he disappeared to?
Jamal, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a very sad situation for Dele Alli. You know, I would love to see him be that player again. I don't know if he's going to rediscover that form with us. You know, I don't know. It could be a variety of things, but he's got to find himself. And I think the best thing for him would be to go for a loan. I think aiming for PSG is a little ambitious for him. You know, there are other decent clubs he could go to, which they would benefit from having a decent Dele Alli with a new mentality.
Steve?
Well, I mean, I do like Dele Alli, and I think we should keep him. And as you say, I think there is a player in there. I disagree with Kamal in that I think he does find space. Probably unlike almost any player in the Premier League, he finds space. It's what he does when he gets there. He's too ponderous, too slow. He loves a little flick. Yeah. Regardless of how useful it's going to be. He did a beautiful flick in the Champions League semi-final for Moura to score, but you can't live off that forever. Now, I think there is a good player in there somewhere, but I don't know. He seems too slow, too ponderous. He for those of you who are old enough, he reminded me a little bit in the early days of Martin Peters, who used to ghost in at the far post and no one picked him up, no one saw him. And he used to do that. And he doesn't do that anymore. He does find some space. I think other teams have sussed him out as well, particularly in the Premier League.
I think the one thing that I can sort of relate to is that he's so ponderous. He's got the ball. He won't pass it quickly. He waits so long before he releases the ball, and we lose all the momentum. It's just really frustrating.
Robbie Keane used to do that too. He'd have all the time, but he would hold on to that ball, hold on until the pass is gone, and then pass it, and wonder why it never worked. That is his big problem too. I mean, you know, we if you got players with some pace, you need to be able to move it faster. Yeah. What about his pace? He hasn't really got pace.
He hasn't got pace.
He hasn't got pace, but he never really needed. He never really
doesn't need pace. As Steve says, he goes in, doesn't he? And he gets into the box and all that.
But he also needs someone to find him when he makes that run, and we've missed that. I know we had Ericsson previously, and we also, I mean, he was falling away a bit towards the end of his time with Spurs. But you do need a player who's going to find him. The closest we've got is Kane, who'd have to drop back as he did at Southampton and then try and find him. So
I was hoping Lo Celso would do that, but I'm not sure if he's got it in his locker. But let's see.
Well, that's what we hoped he would be the playmaker, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So,
okay,
I mean,
so what
are we? Second half. Are we moving to the second half?
Yeah, let's move to the second half. Let's try and speed it along for the second half because we won 3-1. What's a couple of other things I want to talk to you
What do you have to say about Nafiu's goal? I mean, he had so much space.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically the whole team stood still and let him line it up and let him put it in. It was a great strike, though, right? One strike, one goal. Why does that only happen against Tottenham?
Well,
I've got a feeling that goal occurred because we lost it on the edge of their penalty area with a bad pass from Son, and then they broke. And it was lucky, I suppose, it came to that player. But you've still got to put it away, regardless of how much room you've got. And I thought it was a very good goal, really.
It was a really good
yeah,
goal.
sorry, Jamal, go ahead.
I think it was a very good goal. I think, these things will happen. I think we reacted well, really, is what matters. And like you said, it's a shame that Kane had to come on, but he did, and he did the business, and we're on to the next stage.
Yeah. Bad defending, they should have closed him down, but, you can't have everything. It's a goal is a goal. But a good win in the end, I think. We're happy. And on to Maccabi Tel Aviv, I think, next week, isn't it, Steve?
No,
it's either Rostov or
Maccabi beat Rostov 2-1.
They did.
I didn't know that.
So we're going to be
And
playing.
is it away?
It's away always. I don't know why, but it's always away. So
These games are killing us, I mean, we're not even in the group stages yet.
and we're playing Chelsea on Tuesday, aren't we, in the Carling Cup?
Oh, is that so soon?
Have they decided about? Has Leighton forfeited?
They have.
Yeah,
forfeited.
they've had to forfeit the match. So we're playing Chelsea, I think, on Tuesday. I think, I'm not sure.
Oh, dear.
We check that. But before we close, guys, I want to get a mark from everybody. So I'm going to give Spurs 6 out of 10. Come on.
Well, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to give Son 9 out of 10 because I think that when he scored that, he took his time, took a great goal, created a goal. I'm going to give Winks only 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And Ndombele, I've given 5 out of 10 too. And Aurier, I mean, I can't really mark him because he put in some good crosses, but his bad passing led to nothing because they weren't good enough to take advantage of it.
Exactly.
So overall, I would say as a team, probably a 3 out of 10, but because we won, we probably should do better. Only 3 out of 10 because it was such a bad opposition. Yeah. We should have put it to bed in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
I'm being a bit generous by giving a 6, but I'm feeling in a generous mood. So, what about you, Jamal? What's your overall rating for the team?
I think it's a 2.5 rating.
Yeah.
First half definitely like 4, 5.
Yeah.
Second half, we picked it up 6, 7. I mean, like you said, we should have won this game by a lot more, and we should have done better. They're there. They gotta do the traveling. They gotta play so often. They don't know what they're expecting to do. They're human too.
Okay.
6 out of 10.
Okay. And Steve?
Well, I'd probably give an overall performance of 6 because we won.
Yeah, exactly.
We haven't really mentioned Joe Hart, which I think is a really good thing about
goalkeeper.
Yeah. He hasn't had anything to do, and what he has done, he's done it efficiently.
Yes.
And he's officially our number 2 now, isn't he?
Looks like it.
The keeper was a guy called Sahor who never held the ball once. He was lucky enough to be able to push it out every single time and managed to avoid a Spurs player. That in itself must be a record. He probably pushed the ball into his own penalty area at least 10 times, right? And never managed to find one of our players. Apart from that, apart from Son's goal. Just to say, we had 8 shots on target, 7 off target, and we had 7 corners. I think I would have expected at least 30 shots on target with that.
What about possession?
I think we probably had about 70% of the possession.
Okay, listen, guys. That's the wrap on the match. I want a couple of other things I would quickly want to talk about before we leave. Firstly, I want to talk. Have you heard these rumors about 2 guys joining us, Shkendija and Milic? Have you guys heard about that? What's your view on those guys? Anything?
I mean, if we're going to spend £50 million on a defender, then it's going to be someone of the caliber of that guy in Hertha Berlin who destroyed us at the back.
RB Leipzig.
Yeah, I meant Leipzig, sorry.
Upamecano, Upamecano is a really good player. I would really go for that guy, definitely.
Yeah. This guy, I mean, 50 million, really?
Skriniar from Inter. What do you think, Jamal? Have you heard of him?
I don't know enough about him. I haven't followed Inter Milan and what they're doing for a couple of seasons. I know, I know Conte is trying to build a team there. I don't know why they would let him go for 50 million if he's worth 50 million.
Need more money. Steve, have you heard of these guys? Any thoughts?
No, I do know is we need another central defender, definitely.
And we need another striker, I think, as well.
I don't know enough about those players. But I always feel that when you've got teams like, well, dare I say it, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Juventus, who get rid of players, or Paris Saint-Germain, that they're getting rid of players who aren't good enough. That's my feeling. But maybe I just have to accept that we're not really up at that level at the moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully we will be. And I was wrong with Mora because I like Mora now. When at first I thought he was a headless chicken.
Yeah.
Yes,
So okay, guys, it's a wrap now. But I just want last thing. I want your predictions for Sunday. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to say we can't keep a clean sheet. So I'm going to say 2-1 Tottenham. Come on.
Well, I think I'm going to say 3-2 simply because we always concede 2 goals. In the Premiership, it seems like when we concede 1, we think, oh, that's not enough. Let's let another one in. So I'll definitely get 2, even though it is Newcastle. And somehow I think with the way that if Kane drops deep, provides for Son, we should be able to get 3. I'm hoping we're going to play our new left back. That should really help. But playing Ben Davies, let's make it. We'll probably lose 3-0 if we play Ben Davies.
Yours 3-2, Steve.
I think a clean sheet's coming. I think we're going to have a Mourinho. We're going to have a Mourinho 1-0 win.
Okay.
Wouldn't we love that?
Who's going to score, Steve? I'll put you on the spot.
Oh, it's going to be Kane.
Okay.
Always is.
Jamal?
So I'm going to go with a 3-1. I think Newcastle are going to be a tough match. They just took points off Everton. You know, it wasn't easy to do. I mean, it was after 90th minute. Yeah. Everton probably should have won the match, but you know, these things happen. But I still say 3-1. We're gonna score some good goals. Newcastle are gonna give us a scare, as any team always does. And then we'll come in and win the match.
Can we please remember last season? Because I think our first game away was to Newcastle and we lost badly.
Yeah.
We were away at Newcastle when the Pochettino slide started at Newcastle, so let's not forget that. And also, in the season when we should have competed against Leicester, our last game we lost at Newcastle 5-0, and Sissoko even got goals. So it was so impressive. And that was
2, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. 2 years before he scored again. Yeah.
It was on the basis of that performance that we signed him, wasn't it?
We signed him on that performance. Yes.
So listen, thanks guys. Thanks for your time. Really great chat again. And I'd like to thank all our viewers for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching our new channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you again after the next match with our views. And take good care and look after yourself. Bye, everybody.
Right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.